How do you deal with refrigeration?
Well, I have a walk-in cooler because I like apples year-round. I use it, but if it all shut down, I'd be fine because I eat everything fresh in season and I'm good. I really don't need refrigeration, but my apples are awesome. I like to have them, and so it's just a plus. But if it didn't, I just put them in the coolest place I have and have them as long as possible. But because it's there, I use it, but I don't need it.
Do you have any keeper apples that improve with age, or do they all just kind of?
No, but the best keeper is Honeycrisp. That apple will store in my cooler for a whole year. It's amazing how awesome, how well that keeps. Some apples are better keepers than others, but that Honeycrisp is the best. And you know what's so sad about apples? You know, Dr. Mercola in 2012 put a list of 12 things you should no longer eat. You know what the first on the list was? Apples. 2012. You can't eat apples anymore. I had a little boy.
They're sprayed and stuff.
I had a little boy come here on a tour 2 years ago, 9 years old, and he's coming up here. This is when my apples are all ripe, and he says, "I can't eat apples. I'm allergic to them." I look at the little boy. I says, "I want you to look at my eyes." I says, "You're not allergic to apples. You were created in the image of God, fearfully and wonderfully made. Your body's reacting to the poisons that are in the apples. It's not the apple. It's the toxins that are used in their fertilizers, their sprays that you're reacting to because it's not the apple. And so while you're here today, you can eat all the apples you want. You'll have no impact." "You don't understand." I says, "I understand. It's not the apple." So he's watching these people eating my Connie apples and they're flipping out. Can you believe the aroma and the flavor? This kid couldn't take it anymore, so he took one, starts eating it. 3/4 of the way through, he's yelling at the top of his lungs, "I'm not reacting. I'm allergic to apples. I'm not reacting." I looked at him and says, "Get it, buddy. There's nothing wrong with you. Your body is awesome. It's the apples that are wrong." It was so cool, man, to be able to give this kid this revelation that he's okay. It's the apples that are messed up. And so I get, when young people come here, I says, if you pay attention today, what the billionaires are investing, the billionaires, it's in food and farms because they know the future. So if you want a good future, plant fruit trees. Because if you got fruit like this that's clean, there's no limit to what you can get for it because it's not unavailable. It won't be available in the store. And I can tell you, nutrient-dense food is impossible to meet the market demand. I had the most interesting experience. I have 7 children, and some are characters. I have one named Devorah. If you remember Devorah, she's the only female judge of Israel. And this Devorah of mine is pretty out there. Anyway, when they're growing up, I never give my kids allowance because I train them and says, "Listen, we all live here. This is our home, and we all maintain and support our home. I'm not paying you to work here because this is all part of living. So if you want money, go out and get a job." So he says, "Dad, I need some money to go to the farmer's market." Now, when you go to the farmer's market, you have a designated spot you pay for. She didn't have one. She just would show up, put her stuff on the ground, and I watched the vendors, the farmers, come out of their booths and buy her out in 15, 20 minutes every Saturday. And they weren't selling it. They were taking it home. "Okay, Dad, we can go home now." And I'm watching this. These vendors are there all day long. Their produce is totally wilting. They take most of it home. And they're buying her stuff? But it was nutrient dense. It was awesome. And there's nothing else out there. And if you're growing this kind of food, it would be impossible to meet the market demand. Impossible. And you know the economic reality, supply and demand? When you have a high demand and low supply, where's the price go? Up. That's what it's all about. It's huge. So the future in growing this kind of food is totally awesome. It's like you can't lose, man. It's a winner.
Well, Paul, one of the really cool things about being in your orchard is just that it feels fun. And everything, you can easily walk around the trees,
Accessible.
And see through them, and
Yeah.
it's
Convenience.
Like, this is cool. I just want to hang out and call some people, you know.
But isn't that the nature of God?
Yeah.
Wouldn't He do that?
Yeah.
He wants to make. He gave us life more abundant. It wasn't meant to be distracting and uncomfortable and a drag. It was to be fun,
Yeah.
enjoyable, attractive. Like I want to be there.
Yeah.
He put us in a garden to connect for relationship.
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah,
It's
awesome.
free and abundant, like you said.
Yeah, he's just good.
Well, I came here last August for the first time I knew anything about this, and I came to look at the vegetables, and my neighbor lady has a large overgrown orchard that I've been pruning for her for a while, but I was never into apples. I didn't think they tasted good or anything like that. And I came here last August, and everybody's talking about the apples. And I'm like, apples? They don't taste good. I don't get the apple thing. And after a while, I did the same thing. After 20 minutes, I'm like, well, I'm gonna have one of these, you know. And I had one, and it was like a watermelon or something. The flavor was off the charts. It was unbelievable, and it really changed my whole life, really, because I was like, you could eat this as a staple food. I thought apples was like a flavor that candy was based on or something like that. And so I'm like, these are amazing. I'm gonna grow apples. And I started asking people, like, how many apples a week do you eat? You know, and just ask yourself that question: how many apples in a week? And the answer I was getting back was 0. Right? Like, nobody eats apples.
They're not good.
And I'd ask people why not, and they'd say they don't taste good. And when you pick them when they're ripe, you know, when they're right to come on, that's where it all happens. And the stuff we get in the store, they're picked a week or two before they're ready. And it totally changed my attitude about the whole thing. And it's like, man, I'm growing an apple orchard. You know.
You know, well, so you see, my breakfast for the entire fall until just a month ago was nothing but 1 apple every day. That's all I eat, because it's so nutrient dense, and I'm totally satisfied. I have no lunch. I don't eat till dinner, because it's so satisfying. It's so real food.
Yeah, the cabbage. I had some purple cabbage when we were here in winter pruning get together, and it was the most flavorful cabbage I've ever had. Definitely. Everything is the most flavorful.
Well, it's
whatever it was
called
that I've ever
nutrient
had.
density. It's just, you know, the reality is you are what you eat.
Yeah.
Everything is. You know, the plant's what it eats, and so it eats nutrient dense soil. It's going to taste good. It can't help it. You know, it's so simple, really. That's why I love it. God made things simple. You know.
The reason I started growing things at all was I lived in Russia for several years, and I came back and forth to renew visas. My friend and I were working in an orphanage, and learned so much helping in the gardens and eating. We were in the middle of nowhere. We were not in the city. We were way out in the middle of nowhere, drinking this amazing, sweet spring water, eating out of people's gardens. And when I would go there, I would sit down and eat the first meal, and it was like my body just went, thank you.
Yeah.
And I felt great, and I adjusted well, and I felt awesome, and I came back here, and this is home, and I was at home with my family and the things I grew up eating, and literally my body would take 5 or 6 weeks to adjust.
I know.
I felt sick all the time. I go back there, the day I got back, I was fine. And
Your body's intelligent,
yep.
and it talks to you.
Well, and like you said, it takes us a while to catch it. We have to start asking the Lord, okay, what am I missing? So I came back, and now that I'm here, all right, let's grow our own stuff. Let's do this the right way.
Yeah.
Unfooled around with. That's
Yeah,
what we need.
absolutely.
Food that's unfooled around with.
What's that?
We need food that's unfooled around
Yeah.
with.
As God made it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not grown
Thanks,
for
Paul.
the
We got to
dollar
run.
bill.
Yeah.
Appreciate
You're
everything.
so welcome.
too.
All right. Bless you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
You
Take
are
care,
a
everybody.
blessing.
God is good. Thank you.
You are a blessing.
Very inspirational.
You better head on down the road too.
Thanks, Paul.
You're so welcome. Bless you.
Yeah.
It's-
Like it or not, you'll see me again because we're over in Port Ludlow.
Fine.
so
Yeah. That's cool. You're not
it's a
far.
Good place to
Yeah.
hang
It
out.
just keeps getting better. New stuff
Yeah.
comes on all the time. You know, so.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
How do you make kombucha with the apples? I don't know.
No, I use apple juice, but after I make it, when I get ready to drink it, then I'll add the fruit juice. Not while I'm making it.
Okay, so
Now the only thing I'll put into it sometimes I'll add ginger when I'm making the tea, and that's really good. I'll put the ginger in with the tea when I'm making it. But other than that, when I do the fruit stuff, when I get ready to drink it, I just add the fruit juice to it at that moment, and it's just.
And you leave it 2 weeks.
I leave it 2 weeks before I drink it because in 2 weeks, all the sugar and all the caffeine's out of there. I don't want sugar and caffeine. And so in 2 weeks, that's all gone. So that's when it's mature.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. You know what I do with the scobies? Feed them my chickens. And they love them.
Yeah, we just tried that this morning.
Chickens love them,
Yeah, we
because they know what good food is.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that before, but somebody
Chickens
told me
chickens
that
love
and
it.
I did and-
Well, chickens, you know what's scary? My wife went to the store last year, Co-op in Port Townsend, and bought organic lettuce. Organic lettuce. Some of the outer leaves were wilted, so she threw them in the chicken garbage. I dumped the chicken garbage, and it's got avocado peels and everything else. The chickens would not eat the lettuce. And it's labeled organic. They knew it was poisonous. They're eating avocados peels, wouldn't eat the lettuce, because it'd been messed with. I told Carol, I says, man, the label means nothing. The chickens wouldn't eat it. And see, they're telling me what's safe to eat, because they have instinct. They don't read labels, they have instinct, and they know. Yeah, so your chickens are really help you with food. I always tell people, take your dog to the store. If the dog won't eat it, you shouldn't buy it. It's not safe to eat. Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's pathetic, because the food in the stores, man, is not safe.
Nice.
Now, where do you folks live?
Oak Harbor.
Okay, cool. Not far.
We're city slickers trying to figure out how to do this.
Well, I was born in L.A. I know about cities, but I was blessed because my parents, had us connected. We had a good garden.
And this year we're doing the wood chips.
Oh, you're gonna just love it, and you do it around everything, all your plants. It just is so awesome how well, and it looks. I think it looks nice. It's just, the cover is really attractive. It's not ugly, It's better than dirt, and there's no mud, and it's nice to walk on. And this is autumn olive. Is the name of that tree?
I thought it was a bee plant.
It gets a fruit. I haven't had it yet, but someone just gave it to me last year. It's amazing how much it's growing. It's really taken off.
Olive, I didn't think olive would grow.
No, this is not an olive, but it's called autumn is a name. But olive is a whole different foliage. I grew with olives in California. This is not an olive, but its name is autumn olive, but it's not an olive.
When you say gives the fruit,
It gets the fruit, yeah. You can see the bud. There's some buds out there at the end. Let me see. I'm going to point it out to you. See, it's about finished, but you can see this stuff hanging right here. See right there? See, that was a bud. So I don't know what's going to happen, whether they'll produce this year or not, but I'll find out. But otherwise, it's growing nice. It looks nice.
So I'm looking at your pasture and your wood chips up to it, and it doesn't look like the grass grows into the wood chips all that much.
Well, it does some. I have to weed, and again, but yeah, it would. Now, when I get sheep here, they're great because they go right along the edges and they eat it also. And they'll be coming soon. So
So what kind of pasture is it?
this is just normal pasture, but let me tell you about what happened with this pasture. If you look at the color of that grass out there, how thick and green it is. When I came here 28 years ago, I could walk through this pasture in the summer with no resistance. The grass is 4 feet tall. It was so thin because the ground was so depleted, because it had been originally a cow farm and they used chemical fertilizers. If you see my land's on a grade, slight slope. So this is the economy, and God just blows me out. In that orchard and garden, after it grows all that produce, all that food, the excess runoff feeds all of this. And this grass now is so thick. You want to hear something amazing about how this has changed? In a pasture, this is 1.25 acres, it'll support 6 sheep. That's the books. A man brought 54 sheep here one year because he raised them commercially and he needed to upgrade his pasture, and so he wanted to reseed and get the sheep off the pasture so it would grow back. He says, I can probably have them here for a month. Look at all your grass, and I'll bring. He brought them here in April or June and didn't take them out till October, and never got my grass down. 54 on 1.25 acres with no irrigation. I wasn't watering him. He was a good farmer, a good shepherd. He was coming every few days to check out his sheep. He called me one day. He says, I had to call you. He says, I'm seeing something here I've never seen before. I've raised sheep for 30 years. And all day long, my sheep are on my pastures, moving, continuously eating. When I come to your place, they're all laying down. And the Holy Spirit just prompted with Psalm 23. He says he lays them down in green pastures. I said, Fred, your sheep are satisfied. This is nutrient-dense grass, and they don't need to eat as much. And the reason they're laying down is because they're satisfied. On your pasture, with chemical fertilizers, they're never satisfied. And what amazed me is he saw this, and he's still putting chemical fertilizers down. I'm telling you, man, it's like, it's
amazing.
incredible. Like, excuse me?
Huh?
I mean, what's up with this? I mean, don't you
Yeah.
get it?
We have a friend that we told the whole process to, and he was just listening, just focused of the wood chips and everything. And he goes, "So, if I till them in, I'm like, no, don't." And he's like, "Well, I have to. I've got weeds." I'm like, "No, you're not understanding. Listen, here's the thing. Don't listen to me. Listen to him."
If you till weeds, all you do is multiply them because you
Yes,
chop
you're
all
just-
the roots and spread them out.
Exactly.
It's not, you don't stop anything by tilling, except you stop life.
I know I walked past his house and he was working in his garden the other day and he was pulling out rocks and pulling out weeds and everything. He looks over at me and he goes, Don't look, I don't want to hear it." I was like, "I'm not going to say anything. I'm just saying, Michael."
Yeah, it's amazing how stiff-necked we can be. And again, it's we're creatures of habit.
But it's
And
only
we-
God's grace that we even get it a little bit.
Mhm.
It's
Amen.
God's grace.
Yeah.
Bible calls us.
Any word on
Yeah.
Well, we're called sheep for a reason. Yeah.
Yep.
how to get rid of
Have you ever had
blackberry?
Blackberries you have to dig out by hand because you got to get the whole root out. Here's the cool thing about wood chips is once you get the wood chips on the ground, you're going to find everything that comes out much easier because the ground's soft. So it just changes everything. I mean, it's amazing when I'm pulling these dandelions, the whole root comes out before they used to break off. So it's just at all levels, this just really blesses you big time.
what about bracken? I'm afraid I have
But-
a lot of the tall ferns. I think they're bracken.
You know what I'm doing with those?
How do you get rid of it?
I'll tell you what I'm doing. And I learned from my asparagus. You see, I used to pull them out. And when you do, they come right back. I'm now cutting them off with my clippers,
Okay.
and they're not coming back because I'm not breaking them off at their crown.
Okay.
And it's amazing. Just take your pruners and cut them right at the base.
They're just thick everywhere on our property.
Oh, I got them back in here, but I used to have them all on my strawberries,
Yeah, that was just
and they're none now because I've been cutting them off with the pruners. They're not coming back
So you just cut them right off the ground.
at the ground level. But see, I used to pull them out,
Yeah.
and I was breaking them off at the crown. That was stimulating more
Same
growth.
thing as asparagus.
Yeah, and so the Holy Spirit brought to my mind, well, cut them off. Don't pull them off because it's like this. Whoa! So I'm just excited to see the effect because it's just. I'm just starting.
Some blueberries before I ever heard about this method. I'm going through and sift the soil. I pulled out every single root from the bracken, everything like that I could find. Right, they're backhand.
Yeah. So just take your pruner and just cut them off at the base, and I think you'll be really impressed. I'm looking forward to it.